Greetings, dear subscribers and casual listeners of my channel. Have you ever thought about what would happen if Voldemort had an heir? What if the Dark Lord and his most devoted follower, Bellatrix Lestrange, secretly had a child, a sorceress as ruthless and powerful as them both? In today's video, you will find out the shocking truth about Delphi, Voldemort's hidden daughter, and the last hope of the Dark Lord's legacy. Voldemort and Bellatrix were two of the most feared figures in the entire Harry Potter saga. He was the Dark Lord, a ruthless tyrant obsessed with blood purity and willing to sacrifice anyone to achieve his vision of a wizard-dominated world. She was his most loyal Death Eater, standing by him even when others abandoned him, carrying out his cruelest orders without question. But in the midst of war and chaos, they did something no one expected. They had a child. Her name was Delphi, and her existence changed everything. How could such a union even be possible? Bellatrix's obsession with Voldemort was no secret. For years she worshipped him, blindly following his every command. But Voldemort, a man incapable of love, never reciprocated her feelings. Born under the effects of a love potion, he lacked the ability to truly care for anyone. Yet, during the final years of the war, Voldemort realized one thing. His bloodline, one that traced back to Salazar Slytherin himself, would end with him. And that was something he could not allow. Perhaps that's why he chose Bellatrix, a pure-blood witch from the prestigious Black family, to carry his heir. And so, in secret, Delphi was born. But what made her so dangerous? Delphi's story is told only in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, a controversial addition to the saga, officially recognized as canon by J.K. Rowling herself. According to the play, Delphi was born in Malfoy Manor just before the Battle of Hogwarts. After Voldemort's downfall, she was hidden away, raised by a woman who cared for her only in exchange for gold. She grew up alone, abandoned, and full of questions. That changed when her mother's husband, Rodolphus Lestrange, escaped from Azkaban. He revealed the truth. She was the daughter of the greatest dark wizard of all time, and her destiny was to bring him back. Delphi's plan was as brilliant as it was terrifying. She manipulated Amos Diggory, Cedric's grieving father, using his pain to gain access to Harry Potter's son, Albus. Through lies and deception, she convinced him and his best friend, Scorpius Malfoy, to steal a time-turner. The goal? To rewrite history and prevent Voldemort's death. Her mission led to a chaotic spiral of alternate realities, near successes, and shocking twists. She fought fiercely, demonstrating abilities beyond ordinary magic. She could speak Parseltongue, fly without a broom, and duel multiple opponents at once. She was powerful enough to defeat Harry Potter himself in combat. But even she was not unstoppable. In the end, it took the combined strength of Harry, Albus, Ron, Hermione, and Draco to bring her down. And even then, it was no easy battle. Delphi was ultimately imprisoned in Azkaban, her dreams of reviving Voldemort crushed forever. But was Delphi truly defeated? Or was this just the beginning of something far more dangerous? Locked away in the cold, desolate walls of Azkaban, Delphi Lestrange sat in silence. The winds outside howled like tormented souls, the waves crashing against the prison's stone foundation. Dementors glided past her cell, their presence stripping away all warmth, all hope. Yet she did not break. She did not tremble. Unlike the other prisoners, she did not scream in the night or beg for mercy. She was not like them. She was her father's daughter. Her entire life had been built on a single truth. She was meant to bring Voldemort back. The mission had failed, but failure was never the end. It was only a lesson. Somewhere beyond these prison walls, magic still flowed through the world. Powerful relics remained undiscovered, forbidden spells lay hidden in dusty tomes. If she had learned anything from her father, it was that patience was key. He had waited years to return. She could do the same. She closed her eyes and listened. The faint whispers of the past still echoed in her mind. Rodolphus had told her stories of the Dark Lord's rise, of the First War, of the great battles fought in his name. The Death Eaters had been scattered, hunted down one by one, but some still remained, loyalists hiding in the shadows. They would come for her. One night, as the cold seeped into her bones, she felt it, a shift, a ripple in the air. A low, rattling breath filled the darkness outside her cell. A Dementor moving closer. But this was different. The torches dimmed, an unnatural silence settling over the corridor. Delphi slowly stood, her pulse steady, her mind sharp. Then she heard the whisper, a voice so faint it could have been the wind. But she knew better.
A name was spoken, not hers, not her father's, but something older, something lost to time. Morgana.
Delphi's lips parted, but she said nothing. A chill ran through her, not from fear, but from recognition. She had studied the legends. Morgana, the ancient sorceress, the one whose magic rivaled even Merlin's. A woman of shadows, of prophecy, of power, beyond imagination. Some believed she had died centuries ago. Others whispered that she had never truly left. The voice came again. This time it was clearer. Blood of the serpent, the path is not yet closed. Delphi felt her heart quicken. She stepped forward, pressing her hands against the iron bars of her cell. The air around her felt charged, like the moment before a storm. Then silence. The presence faded. The torches flickered back to life. The Dementors resumed their slow, mindless patrol. But Delphi knew the truth. Someone, or something, had reached out to her. Days passed. Weeks. The whispering voice did not return, but the words remained in her mind, twisting like vines. She spent hours staring at the cracks in the stone walls, tracing invisible patterns, searching for meaning. And then, on a night when the moon was hidden behind thick clouds, the prison shook. It was subtle at first, a tremor beneath her feet, a distant boom like thunder. Then came the screams. Guards shouted, spells cracked through the air. Somewhere, metal groaned as it was bent and torn apart.
An escape, but who?
Delphi pressed herself against the bars, straining to hear. Heavy footsteps approached. A figure emerged from the darkness, tall, hooded, face obscured by shadows.
Time to leave, the voice said.
Before she could respond, the door to her cell exploded outward, not by magic, by sheer force. The iron twisted and crumbled as if crushed by an invisible hand. Delphi did not hesitate. She stepped forward, breathing in the salty air of the open sea. "Who are you?" she asked. The figure tilted its head, and for the first time she saw a flicker of something behind the hood. Not a face, not a human face at least.
A mask, smooth, black, markings she had never seen before, etched in silver. One who remembers, the voice replied.
The stranger turned and began walking. Delphi followed. The corridors of Azkaban were in chaos, cells torn open, prisoners running, Dementors retreating as if sensing something greater than themselves. They moved through the ruined halls, avoiding the eyes of the panicked guards. The stranger seemed to know every turn, every hidden passage. Finally, they reached the outer wall. A boat waited below, rocking against the dark waves. Delphi turned to her savior. "What do you want from me?" The figure did not answer immediately. Instead, it reached into its cloak and pulled out a small, ancient book. It was bound in worn leather, its pages yellowed with age. Delphi took it, running her fingers over the cover. No title. But the symbols, They were familiar. She had seen them before. In the darkest corners of her research, in texts no wizard dared to read, the stranger spoke one final time. The Dark Lord was only the beginning. There is older magic, stronger magic, and it is waiting for you. Then, without another word, the figure stepped back and vanished into the shadows. Delphi stood there, the book heavy in her hands, the wind whipping through her hair.